And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost.
Welcome back, friends, to the Quenta Accords. Today, I'm going to reveal to you the prophecies foretold by Iluvatar and the Ainulindalë and align them to Prophasis, the spirit of excuse in Greek mythology. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, when in doubt, always follow your nose. As I've mentioned before in my last two videos, Iluvatar is Tom Bombadil. Tolkien has allowed readers to experience an adventure themselves in their own lives to which they can interpret old Tom differently. An enigma, some say, not deserving enough to be included because he would make the movies too long? The story of creation itself is too long to fit into 3 movies. It would take an eternity, in fact, to tell the tales of Tom Long, Bombadil.
Don't you know my name yet? That's the only answer. Tell me, who are you, alone, yourself and nameless? But you are young, and I am old. Eldest, that's what I am. Mark my words, friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn.
As entrancing as it is to hear creation calling to you through the lens of Iluvatar or Old Tom, as conveyed by J.R.R. Tolkien, they're all but prophecies, whether existing eternally in the timeless halls, or coming down into the house of Tom Bombadil with Goldberry, Eru or Old Tom would speak in prophecy. For what he says is forever and more, not just in a moment of time, but infinitely. Such prophecies would effectively make him the alleged cause to which put him into accord with the spirit of Prophasis of Greek mythology, the child of Epimêtheus. It's hard to explain, so it'd be better if I just reveal the words said by Iluvatar in the Ainulindalë and explain how it's more of a prophecy than just a matter of fact. His words echo to us even to today, not only through the Valar and Maiar, but also the Ymir with Melkor. As Tom explained before, things friendly and things unfriendly.
History became legend. Legend became myth.
Then Iluvatar said to them,
Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music. And since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, ye shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if he will. But I will sit and hearken, and be glad that through you, great beauty has been wakened into song.
Notice how Iluvatar holds no power for himself, instead giving them to the Ainur. Showing forth the power is the equivalent to each Valar's special nature, as sung in the first theme. For example, Ulmo has thought or power in water, though this is not because he takes ownership of it, but because he is it. Everything that has volume or is a liquid isn't owned by him, but is him. So Ulmo is water thanks to being kindled by the flame imperishable by Iluvatar. His thoughts originate from Iluvatar, and he will think these thoughts until the end of time, or so it is prophesied. Reading on. Never since have the Ainur made any music like to this music, though it has been said that a greater still shall be made before Iluvatar by the choirs of the Ainur and the children of Iluvatar after the end of days. Then the themes of Iluvatar shall be played aright, and take being in the moment of their utterance, for all shall then understand fully his intent in their part, and each shall know the comprehension of each, and Iluvatar shall give to their thoughts the secret fire, being well pleased. Although Iluvatar didn't directly say this, and it is indeed without a doubt a prophecy, we can only assume that this is the Valar thinking in unison upon and after the end of days, for they are closest to Iluvatar in infinity, and they would have these thoughts from the mind of Iluvatar. Then Iluvatar spoke, and he said,
Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor. But that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar, those things that ye have sung I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined.
In this prophecy, Iluvatar, or Epimêtheus, is explaining to Melkor, or Prometheus, that not a single distribution can be made that doesn't have its source in himself, with himself being the universe that is eternal. For though Melkor may attempt to possess the creations made by Iluvatar, or rather inspect the distributions given by Epimêtheus, he will find for himself that he is akin to him from his thought. For he hasn't imagined quite yet that what he has done, for better or for worse, has attributed to the themes of Iluvatar. Though Prometheus the Inspector may hold power in attempting to possess all the thoughts originating from Epimêtheus, the true power is held by the distributors. A kingdom isn't a kingdom without the people. The nation isn't a nation because of a president, but because the people voted in that president, thanks to democracy, or a valiant attempt at democracy, which could be marred by the presence of capitalism. If you're not convinced yet that Iluvatar holds prophecy over the Ainur, then listen to this excerpt from the Silmarillion. And many other things Iluvatar spoke to the Ainur at that time, and because of their memory of his words and the knowledge that each has of the music that he himself made, the Ainur know much of what was and is to come, and few things are unseen by them. Yet some things there are that they cannot see, either alone nor taking counsel together, for to none but himself has Iluvatar revealed all that he has in store. And in every age there come forth things that are new and have no foretelling, for they do not proceed from the past. The Ainur know much of what was and is to come. They originate from Iluvatar's thought, and so know much of what was. Because of the secret fire, they know much of what is, and because they were prophesied by the Eternal One, Iluvatar, they know much of what is to come. That being said, they're not Iluvatar himself, so some things they cannot foretell. Morgoth uses unforeseen knowledge of the Ainur and incorporated it into his darkness. For what is known comes to light, but that which is unknown is but darkness. He took power and possession of this unforeseen future and incorporated it into himself, the darkness. Calling himself Forethought, Prometheus has been claimed to create the children of Iluvatar and to be bound to a stake by the gods for his theft of fire. Now, let's talk about the spirit of excuse, Prophasis, of Greek mythology. From the Pythian Ode, written by Pindar, an ancient Greek lyric poet who reportedly lived during the 500th century BC. Keep in mind, this is an English translation of Greek text. And so do not forget, when you are celebrated in song around Kyrene's sweet garden of Aphrodite, to set the god in the highest place as the cause of all things, and to love Hippotes above all your companions. He did not bring with him excuse, who was Prophasis, the daughter of late-thinking Afterthought, who was Epimêtheus, when he came to the house of the descendants of Battus, who ruled by right. The meaning of the word Prophasis comes from Greek to mean motive, plea, alleged cause, excuse, and pretext. It's interesting to break down the definitions of motive and excuse. Motive comes from the Merriam-Webster dictionary as something such as a need or desire that causes a person to act. Or more interestingly, its second definition is a recurrent phrase or figure that is developed through the course of a musical composition. A musical composition? How about a musical composition such as the Ainulindalë, which comes to mean Ainu music or spirit music in Quenya? Now let's define excuse, which means the act of excusing, something offered as justification or as grounds for being excused. And 3, justification and reason. To some, excuse comes off as negative, as it excuses the offender of any blame. But ask yourself this, is blame a necessary process? Or at least in the case of creation? As Gandalf explained to Frodo, "Pity. It's a pity that stayed Bilbo's hand. Many that live deserve death. Some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them, Frodo? Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment. Even the very wise cannot see all ends. My heart tells me that Gollum has some part to play in it, for good or for evil, before this is over. The pity of Bilbo may rule the fate of many." Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment, and yet do not be too eager to place blame upon that which you don't fully understand. For even Melkor doesn't fully understand his role in the music of the Ainur. Which is it do you value? An excuse promotes innocence, while blame promotes punishment. An endless path in death and destruction. An eye for an eye. Which takes us back to our afterthought and forethought. An excuse comes from the past and is the spirit of Epimêtheus, while blame is forethought, a fault or sin in the domain of Prometheus the trickster. The spirit of blame comes from Greek mythology as Momos, and he was expelled by Zeus from heaven for ridiculing the gods. He, along with Oisis, the spirit of misery, represent the spirit of Morgoth. He who blamed Iluvatar for taking no thought for the void. And the void isn't a happy place, for the void is indeed Ungoliant the gloomy. If prophasis doesn't exactly mean prophecy, then I'll take alleged cause as its meaning, though in my heart, I know it's not alleged. And so that's the quenta of the prophecy of Iluvatar and prophasis of Greek mythology. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, please excuse a like and subscribe for more content.